Have you ever heard of a book predicting the Titanic disaster before it even happened? Or the fact that the Sahara was once home to galloping crocodiles? Exactly. Crocodiles that could run. If you're into strange, fascinating facts that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about history, then stick around because we've got 10 mind-boggling facts that will leave you amazed. Imagine reading a book and thinking, wait, is this about the Titanic? Except the book was written 14 years before the Titanic even set sail. In 1898, author Morgan Robertson wrote a novella called Futility, which eerily mirrors the infamous tragedy. In the book, a massive, unsinkable ship named the Titan strikes an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sinks. Sounds familiar? The Titan and the real-life Titanic shared more than just a name. Both ships were described as unsinkable. Both hit icebergs in the same ocean, and neither had enough lifeboats for their passengers. Coincidence or something stranger? Let us know in the comments what you think. Fact number 2. It's hard to believe, but there was a time when using a fork was considered sacrilegious. Yet, those handy little utensils you use every day were once seen as an offense to God. Why? Because forks were thought to be artificial hands, which was viewed as meddling with the natural order. People believed that if you were meant to use anything other than your hands, you'd have been born with it. Fact number 3. The Sahara Desert today is an endless stretch of sand, but 100 million years ago, it was a lush, green oasis full of life. And guess what? Among the creatures living there were galloping crocodiles. In 2009, fossil hunters discovered remains of ancient crocodiles with long legs designed for running. They could gallop across land at crazy speeds. Imagine trying to outrun that. Just picture a crocodile, not lazily swimming in a swamp, but chasing after its prey at full speed across dry land. That's straight out of a nightmare, right? Fact number 4. When you think of woolly mammoths, you probably imagine a time long, long ago. But did you know that small populations of these colossal creatures survived well into the age of the pyramids? While the pyramids of Giza were being constructed in ancient Egypt, woolly mammoths still roamed a remote island called Wrangel Island in the Arctic. Fact number 5. Here's something that will blow your mind. Scientists believe that about 97% of history is completely lost. Modern humans have been around for roughly 200,000 years, but we only have written records for the last 6,000. That means most of our story as a species is a mystery, lost in time. Imagine what we don't know. From forgotten civilizations to ancient technologies, there's so much about our past that we can only guess at. Fact number 6. If you think of ancient empires like the Aztecs as being from a faraway time, hold on a second. Oxford University is actually older than the Aztec Empire. Teaching at Oxford began around 1096, whereas the Aztecs didn't establish their capital city, Tenochtitlan, until 1325. So while scholars were hitting the books at Oxford, the Aztecs were still in their early stages of becoming the powerful empire we read about in history books today. Fact number 7. We all know Genghis Khan, one of the most famous conquerors in history. But did you know the Soviet Union tried to erase him from the collective memory? During their rule, simply mentioning Genghis Khan was illegal. They removed his name from textbooks and banned pilgrimages to his birthplace in Mongolia. Fact number 8. When you think of the guillotine, you probably think of its terrifying use during the French Revolution. But did you know it was actually invented to create equality in execution? Before the guillotine, methods of execution were brutal and depending on social class. The idea was that with the guillotine, everyone, rich or poor, would face the same swift end. Kind of a chilling form of equality, but in a twisted way, it was meant to be fair. Fact number 9. We often think of art as a relatively modern invention, but the truth is humans have been creating art for at least 100,000 years. The oldest known artwork found in a cave in France dates back to the Upper Paleolithic era. The artworks is primarily composed of abstract designs and engravings, not the detailed images of animals or people we might imagine today. Archaeologists uncovered pieces of ochre, a natural pigment, with geometric patterns scratched into them. These early artworks likely had symbolic meaning, serving as one of the first forms of communication or expression among early Homo sapiens. Fact number 10. During World War II, air raids were a terrifying part of daily life. But in one home, when an incendiary bomb hit, a Great Dane named Juliana stepped in to save the day. And how did she do it? by peeing on the bomb. Yes, Juliana put out a firebomb by simply relieving herself on it. For her heroic and quick-thinking action, she was awarded the Blue Cross Medal, which is given to animals for bravery. Fact number 11. Now this one's a bit eerie, but stick with me. During the Victorian era, photography was still a new technology, and having a photo of your loved one was a rare, precious thing. But here's the thing. Sometimes the only time families could afford to have a photograph taken was after their loved one had passed away. They would dress up their newly deceased relatives, pose them as if they were still alive, and take a final portrait. This practice might sound morbid now, but back then, it was one of the few ways to remember someone forever. It wasn't uncommon for these photos to show people sitting up in chairs, eyes open, surrounded by family members, making them look like they were simply taking a peaceful rest. These photos were keepsakes, a way to hold on to the memory of a loved one. Fact number 12. When you hear the Avengers, you probably think of Iron Man, Captain America, and the rest of the superhero crew saving the world. But did you know there was another group called the Avengers after World War II? And these Avengers were real. This group of Jewish assassins hunted down Nazi war criminals to bring justice for the millions who suffered during the Holocaust. Their mission? Make sure that these criminals didn't get away with their atrocities. One of their most shocking acts was poisoning the bread of 2,283 German prisoners of war in a bid for vengeance. And there you have it. 10 facts that prove reality can be stranger than fiction. If you enjoyed these strange but true stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating content like this. And don't forget to leave a comment below which fact shocked you the most. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.